Anna Morrison discovered a bobcat kitten dying in a steel jaw trap deep in the Oregon wilderness. With its paw mangled, infected, and broken, the kitten should have faced certain death. No one expected it to survive the night. But with tireless care and quiet determination, Anna nursed the terrified creature back from the brink. Knowing that success meant saying goodbye forever, she believed their story was over the day she released the healthy bobcat back into the forest. She had no idea it was only the beginning. Months later, Anna encountered something so shocking it would challenge everything wildlife experts thought they knew about the laws of nature. Before we start, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The morning mist hung low over the Oregon forest, threading between Douglas firs like ghostly fingers reaching for something lost. Anna Morrison pulled her pickup truck to a stop at the Newhouse Wildlife Rescue Center's entrance. Her coffee still steaming in the cup holder, her mind already running through the day's tasks. 28 years old, with sun-weathered hands and eyes that held both gentleness and determination. She'd been a wildlife rehabilitator for 5 years now, long enough to know that some days would test everything she believed about the bridge between wild and human worlds. She didn't know that this would be one of those days. The call came just as she was preparing morning medications for the recovering animals. Margaret, the center's director, held out the phone with that particular expression that meant trouble. "Family found something," Margaret said quietly. "The Hendersons, out near Cascade Ridge. They're bringing it in now." "What is it?" "Bobcat kitten. Steel jaw trap." Anna's stomach tightened. Those words, steel jaw trap, never preceded anything good. These devices, though illegal in many areas, still plagued Oregon's wilderness, set by poachers and irresponsible trappers who cared more about pelts than the law or the suffering they caused. 20 minutes later, the Hendersons' SUV pulled into the gravel parking area. Tom Henderson, a lumber mill supervisor with rough hands and worried eyes, carried a bundled jacket toward the intake area. His wife Sarah followed, their teenage daughter Emma close behind, her face streaked with tears. "We were hiking," Tom explained, his voice strained. Emma heard it first. This sound, like crying. Anna carefully took the bundle from him, feeling the slight weight within. She pulled back the fabric edge and her breath caught. The bobcat kitten couldn't have been more than 4 months old, her spotted coat matted with blood and dirt. The trap had caught her left front paw, the metal teeth biting deep into flesh and possibly bone. The kitten's amber eyes, glazed with pain and exhaustion, flickered toward Anna's face before closing again. "How long was she there?" Anna asked, already moving toward the medical examination room. "We don't know," Sarah said. "But judging by how weak she is, maybe days?" The examination revealed both better and worse than Anna had feared. The paw, while badly damaged, still had blood flow. No bones appeared to be completely shattered, though there were fractures. But the kitten was severely dehydrated, malnourished, and had developed an infection at the wound site. Her body temperature was dangerously low. "Will she make it?" Emma asked from the doorway, her voice small. Anna looked at the young girl, remembering her own teenage years, her own first encounter with injured wildlife that had set her on this path. "We're going to do everything we can," she said. "She's a fighter. I can see that already." The first 72 hours were critical. Anna barely left the medical ward, administering fluids, antibiotics, and pain medication. She cleaned and dressed the wound every few hours, watching for signs of tissue death that would mean amputation, and likely euthanasia, as a 3-legged bobcat couldn't survive in the wild. On the second night, as Anna dozed in a chair beside the recovery cage, she woke to find the kitten watching her. Those amber eyes, though still clouded with pain, held something else now. Awareness, evaluation. Wild animals knew when humans meant harm and when they meant help, though trust was something else entirely. "Hey there," Anna whispered. "You need a name, don't you? How about Jenna?" The kitten blinked slowly, then turned her face away, curling into the farthest corner of the cage. It was a start. Days turned into weeks. Jenna's wound began to heal, the infection retreating under the assault of modern veterinary medicine. But physical healing was only part of the challenge. The kitten remained deeply traumatized, flinching at every sound, cowering whenever anyone approached her enclosure. She ate only when no one was watching, and any attempt at direct interaction sent her into a panic. Anna had worked with traumatized animals before, but something about Jenna pulled at her particularly hard. Perhaps it was the way the kitten would sometimes forget to be afraid, playing with a feather that drifted into her pen, only to freeze in terror when she realized she was being observed. Or maybe it was the dreams Anna sometimes had, where she was the one caught in cold metal teeth, crying out in a language no one understood. Margaret noticed Anna's dedication. "You're getting attached," she warned one afternoon, finding Anna sitting outside Jenna's enclosure during her lunch break. "I'm being professional," Anna replied, though she knew Margaret was right. Professional is good. But remember, the goal is to return her to the wild. She's not a pet. She's not even a friend. She's a wild animal who needs to stay wild. Anna nodded, understanding the warning. Wildlife rehabilitation walked a knife's edge between necessary human intervention and dangerous habituation. Too much human contact, too much comfort with people, and a released animal might approach humans in the wild, often with fatal consequences. But Jenna needed to trust someone, at least enough to accept treatment and eventually prepare for release. So Anna developed a routine. Every morning at dawn, she would sit outside Jenna's pen, which had been upgraded from a medical cage to a larger outdoor enclosure, and simply exist in the space. She would read reports, drink her coffee, and occasionally speak in low, calm tones about nothing in particular. "Morning, Jenna," she'd say. "Fog's thick today. Reminds me of when I was a kid, living up near Mount Hood. My dad used to say the mountain was wearing its nightcap." At first, Jenna would huddle in her hiding box whenever Anna appeared, but after 3 weeks, she began to peek out. After a month, she would sometimes remain visible, though always at the farthest possible distance. And after 6 weeks, Anna arrived one morning to find Jenna sitting in the open, grooming her healing paw. The paw had been saved. Dr. Rodriguez, the center's veterinarian, declared it a minor miracle. "She'll have a limp," he said, examining the latest x-rays, "and probably some arthritis as she ages. But she'll be able to hunt, climb, and do everything a bobcat needs to do." The next phase of rehabilitation could begin, preparing Jenna for life in the wild. This meant live prey training, using mice and rabbits that were humanely sourced, climbing exercises to strengthen her injured leg, and gradual reduction of human contact. Anna had to step back, letting other staff members take over daily care while she observed from a distance. It was harder than she'd expected. She'd grown used to those morning sessions, to watching Jenna slowly emerge from her trauma. Now she could only watch through security cameras as the young bobcat grew stronger, more confident, more wild. Jenna thrived. Her coat, once dull and matted, gleamed with health. She hunted with increasing skill, her injured paw barely slowing her down. She climbed the logs and platforms in her enclosure with fluid grace. And sometimes, when she thought no one was watching, she would play, pouncing on leaves, chasing shadows, exhibiting the joyful energy that all young cats possessed. 4 months after her arrival, Dr. Rodriguez declared Jenna ready for release. Anna felt a complex mix of pride and loss. This was the goal, the entire purpose of their work. But knowing that didn't make it easier. The release site had been carefully chosen, a protected area of forest near where Jenna had been found, but far from any legal trapping zones. It was early October, the forest painted in shades of gold and rust. Anna drove the transport carrier herself, Margaret riding along for support. "You did good work with her," Margaret said as they wound through the mountain roads. "She's ready for this." "I know," Anna replied, though her hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than necessary. They hiked a mile into the forest to a clearing beside a creek where game trails intersected. It was perfect bobcat territory, plenty of cover, water source, abundant prey. Anna set down the carrier and knelt beside it. Through the mesh, she could see Jenna's eyes, wide and alert, taking in the scents and sounds of home. "This is it, girl," Anna whispered. "Your second chance." She opened the carrier door and stepped back. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Jenna emerged, each movement cautious and deliberate. She stood in the entrance, testing the air, her ears swiveling to catch every sound. Her gaze swept the clearing, paused on Anna for a heartbeat, then moved on. Without warning, she bolted, a streak of spotted fur vanishing into the underbrush. Anna stood frozen, listening to the rustling fade into distance, then into nothing. The forest seemed to close around the space where Jenna had been, as if she had never existed at all. "Come on," Margaret said gently, touching Anna's shoulder. "She's where she belongs." Anna nodded, unable to speak past the tightness in her throat. They hiked back to the truck in silence. Winter came early that year, blanketing the mountains in snow by November. Anna threw herself into other cases: an orphaned raccoon family, a hawk with a broken wing, a fox that had been hit by a car. But sometimes, during those pre-dawn hours when she sat with her coffee, she wondered about Jenna. Had she found shelter? Was she hunting successfully despite her old injury? Had she found others of her kind? Bobcats were solitary creatures, coming together only to mate. A female might have 1 to 6 kittens, raising them alone for up to a year before they dispersed. Anna knew the statistics, the biology, the behavior patterns. But knowing and wondering were different things. Spring arrived with its usual Pacific Northwest reluctance, rain giving way to sun, then back to rain again. Anna had been asked to participate in a wildlife survey, documenting animal populations in various protected areas. It was a welcome break from the emotional intensity of rehabilitation work, a chance to observe without intervening. She was assigned to survey the same section of forest where Jenna had been released. It felt like fate, though Anna tried not to read too much into it. She packed her cameras, tracking equipment, and camping gear, planning to spend 3 days in the field. The first day yielded the usual suspects: deer, squirrels, various birds, coyote tracks near the creek. Anna set up motion-activated cameras at promising locations and settled into the rhythm of observation. On the second morning, as she checked one of her cameras near a game trail, she felt that prickle of awareness that meant she was being watched. She turned slowly, scanning the forest. At first, she saw nothing but shadows and undergrowth. Then movement caught her eye. A shape separating itself from the dappled shade beneath a fallen log. It was a bobcat, standing perfectly still about 30 feet away. Anna's breath caught. The size was right, the markings familiar. But it wasn't until the cat shifted, revealing a slight favoring of the left front paw, that she knew. "Jenna?" she whispered. The bobcat's ears twitched at the sound. She didn't flee, didn't approach, simply stood there watching Anna with those amber eyes that seemed to hold recognition. She looked magnificent, healthy, strong, her coat thick and glossy. The scared, injured kitten was gone, replaced by a confident predator in her prime. For several heartbeats, they simply looked at each other. Then Jenna turned and began walking deeper into the forest, but not with the urgent flight of a frightened animal. She moved deliberately, pausing to look back at Anna. The message seemed clear. "Follow me." Anna hesitated. Following a wild predator, even one she had once cared for, went against every safety protocol. But something in Jenna's manner, in that steady backward glance, made her feet move forward. They traveled for perhaps 20 minutes, Jenna always staying just within sight, leading Anna through deer paths and over moss-covered logs. The forest grew denser, older, the trees towering giants that had stood for centuries. Finally, Jenna stopped at the edge of a small clearing. She sat down, her tail curled around her feet, and looked pointedly toward a cluster of rocks on the far side. Anna followed her gaze and gasped. 3 tiny forms huddled near the rocks. Bobcat kittens, perhaps 6 weeks old, their spotted coats perfect miniatures of their mothers. But something was wrong. They weren't playing or exploring as kittens should. They were pressed together, mewing softly, and Anna could see why. Snares. 3 wire snares were set around what was clearly a den site. One had already caught a kitten's hind leg, though not tightly, yet. The kit was struggling weakly, its siblings pressing close as if trying to help. "Oh no," Anna breathed, her training kicking in immediately. She pulled out her phone, documenting the scene even as she moved toward the trapped kitten. The snares were crude but effective, the kind used by poachers who sold pelts on the black market. And there were more. She counted at least 8 more snares scattered around the clearing, a death trap for any animal that passed through. She worked quickly but carefully to free the trapped kitten, aware that Jenna watched from the clearing's edge. The mother bobcat made no aggressive moves, seemed to understand that Anna was helping. The kit was scared but uninjured, the snare not having tightened fully. Anna disabled all the visible snares, her anger growing with each one she found. This wasn't just poaching. It was systematic, cruel, and illegal on multiple levels. This was protected land, and bobcats were a protected species. She photographed everything, GPS coordinates included, and called it in to both the rescue center and the Wildlife Enforcement Division. "Margaret, you need to get law enforcement out here now," she said when the director answered. "I've found an active poaching operation, multiple snares, evidence of recent activity." While she waited for backup, Anna searched the area more thoroughly. She found a hidden trail camera, the poachers, meant to alert them when animals were caught. She found tracks, fresh ones, leading to and from the site. And hidden under a camouflage tarp, she found a cache of supplies. More snares, bait, and horrifyingly pelts from previous kills. Jenna had brought her here. Somehow, the bobcat had remembered the human who had helped her, had made the connection that this human could help her kittens. It went against everything science said about animal cognition and memory, but the evidence was undeniable. The wildlife officers arrived within an hour, followed by a full investigation team. The trail camera's memory card revealed clear images of the poacher, a man named Dale Morrison, no relation to Anna, who had a long history of wildlife crimes in other states. The evidence Anna had documented was enough for an immediate warrant. They caught Morrison that same evening when he returned to check his snares. He was charged with multiple felonies and faced serious prison time. The snare sites were cleared, the area swept for any remaining traps. Through it all, Jenna had vanished with her kittens, disappearing into the forest as wild things do. But Anna knew they were safe now. The immediate danger passed. As she prepared to leave the forest that evening, Anna returned to the clearing one last time. She didn't expect to see Jenna. Wild animals rarely gave humans second chances at contact. But as she stood there in the fading light, movement caught her eye. Jenna emerged from the shadows, her 3 kittens tumbling behind her. She sat at the forest edge, her gaze meeting Anna's across the clearing. In that look was something Anna couldn't quite define. Not gratitude, exactly, for wild animals didn't think in such human terms. But acknowledgement, perhaps. Recognition of a debt repaid, a circle closed. "Take care of them," Anna said softly. "And yourself." Jenna blinked once, slowly, the way cats do when they're content. Then she turned and melted back into the forest, her kittens following like small shadows. This time Anna knew she wouldn't see her again. This was goodbye, the real one. The one that meant Jenna was truly wild, truly free, truly home. Driving back to the rescue center that night, Anna thought about the strange paths that connected lives across the species divide. She had saved Jenna from a trap, had given her a second chance at wildlife. And Jenna, in her own way, had trusted her enough to seek help when her own kittens were threatened. It wasn't Disney movie anthropomorphism. Jenna hadn't become tame or friendly. She remained utterly wild. A predator who would kill Anna's chickens without hesitation if she kept any, who would flee from any other human contact. But there had been recognition, a memory of help given, and perhaps an understanding that this particular human could be trusted in a moment of desperate need. Margaret was waiting when Anna arrived back at the center, a cup of hot coffee and a knowing smile ready. "Heard you had quite an adventure," she said. "You could say that," Anna replied, accepting the coffee gratefully. "The officers said without your documentation, they might not have caught Morrison. Those kittens would have died." Anna nodded, thinking of those 3 small forms huddled together, of Jenna's steady gaze leading her through the forest. "She knew," Anna said quietly. "Somehow she knew I could help." Margaret was quiet for a moment. 20 years I've been doing this," she finally said. "And every once in a while something happens that reminds me why we do what we do. Not just to save individual animals, but because sometimes, in ways we don't fully understand, they remember, they learn, and sometimes they save each other." That night, Anna sat in her small cabin behind the rescue center, writing up her report. She included the facts, the location of the snares, the evidence found, the successful apprehension of the poacher. But she also included a note about Jenna's behavior, the apparent recognition and deliberate leading to the trap site. It would probably be dismissed as coincidence by scientists, but Anna knew what she had witnessed. Months later, during another survey, Anna's trail cameras captured images of a healthy bobcat family. a mother with 3 half-grown kittens hunting together in the pre-dawn light. The mother had a slight limp in her left front leg. The images were perfect, publishable quality, the kind that would make beautiful additions to any wildlife calendar or conservation publication. Anna kept them private. Some stories she had learned were meant to be lived rather than told. Some connections transcended the boundaries of science and entered the realm of mystery. And some debts, once repaid, created bonds that neither time nor distance could entirely sever. In the Oregon wilderness, a bobcat raised her kittens in freedom, teaching them to hunt and hide and survive in a world full of dangers. She taught them to fear humans, as was proper and necessary. But perhaps in ways too subtle for human understanding, she also taught them that sometimes, just sometimes, help could come from unexpected places. And in a wildlife rescue center at the forest's edge, a rehabilitator continued her work, saving what could be saved, releasing what could be wild, and carrying in her heart the memory of amber eyes that had once trusted her with everything that mattered. The forest kept its secrets, as forests do. But for those who knew how to look, how to listen, how to wait with patience and respect, it sometimes offered glimpses of connection that made all the heartbreak worthwhile. Moments when the wild world and the human world touched briefly, gently, and with perfect understanding. In the end, that was enough, more than enough. It was everything.